welcome back to, after a bit of a long break, the next episode of Madeleine Interviews Artists. And here I am with pop's newest voice that so many people need to know about. We have Alyssa Palmer.
Hi.
Woo! So, Alyssa, for anyone that doesn't know your sound, doesn't know who you are, how would you introduce yourself?
My name is Alyssa Palmer. I'm a pop R&B artist. I like to make bops. I usually use a word in front of it, but I won't say it today. Uh, Unless I am allowed to swear, of course.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. In that case, I make bad bitch bops, as I like to call it. My aim with a lot of the music that I actually don't have out yet is bringing a lot more deeper meanings into pop R&B music, but still having it be a bop that you can dance to, if that makes sense.
That's so interesting. Your music, it's like it's perfect for your getting ready playlist. Like
Mhm.
putting on makeup, you're ready to go out for the evening. Like you just pop on a little bit of Alyssa Palmer and it just makes you feel like, yeah, such a bad bitch. That is totally, totally the right word for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I really, really want to start this conversation off by chatting about your newest single, Body on My Mind,
Yeah.
which is just beautiful. And I want to know every single thing about that song from the creation right up until release.
Yeah, so I'd had an idea for that I wanted to articulate in a song for a while, which was essentially something that I guess probably most people can relate to, which is falling for a friend but not knowing how to deal with that emotion and finally tell them how you feel. Originally, I went to my good friend Violet, who is also an insane artist, but she has produced a few songs for me as well. My other friend Ali Adams, who's an R&B artist, and I said to them that I wanted this idea, but kind of originally I said I wanted the chorus to kind of be the idea of realizing that friendship is more important than anything. When you listen to the song, we did not go with that direction, which is perfectly fine. I love how it comes out. But yeah, instead of that direction, we kind of took the approach of like going for it. And yeah, Violet produced the whole thing for me. We had an initial session, the three of us, so me, Violet, and Ali, writing. And then we meant to have another session. Unfortunately, Violet was ill that day. So me and Ali we kind of rewrote part of the chorus because it felt a bit more poppy. Whereas, like, although I'm a pop R&B artist, I wanted it to still fit in the R&B realm a little bit more. So we rewrote part of that, wrote the second verse together. Yeah, then Violet worked her magic and the song came to be.
Oh wow, so it had quite an evolution then from the original.
Yes, definitely. I mean, all my songs mostly have had a lot of evolution before they come out. Like each song that I make probably is about a year in advance before it comes out.
Gosh, I mean, that's a great tenet to live by though, that music doesn't need to be rushed at all. Like it needs to take its time to come out.
That is probably the biggest lesson I've learned, at least, because like a lot of the time I'm already so proud of my music that I just want to rush and get it out. Like it's so hard sitting on things and waiting for the time for it to actually come out. Whereas a lot of people that I work with, like Violet, like my good friend Kieran, who produced Boomerang for me, they were the ones that had to say to me, we can do better, we can make this even better than what it already is. Just be patient, take your time with it. And I'm so glad that they said that to me.
Yeah, because it's super hard as well, isn't it, to kind of ignore all the music industry pressures and everything of like release, 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 like
Mhm.
just churning out hit after hit. But
Yeah.
if the music that you're putting out isn't of good quality, then what's the point of releasing really quickly? So yeah, I'm in total agreement with you
Mhm.
there that songs need to take their time to come out.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess like when you're in the studio, do you write in the studio or are you a
I do a bit of both. I guess this is me kind of teasing the next release that I just announced, which is I Don't Want You, which comes out on the 26th of September.
no?
Yeah, I'm so excited. That one, for example, the chorus came to me entirely in the shower, like the whole thing. I either have a habit of like everything coming to me out of nowhere in the shower, usually, or like sat by myself in my room. Like a lot of my songs, like Jessica, was pretty much all a good chunk of it was just a brainwave that came to me all at once. Petty was kind of the same as well. But then other times, like with Body on My Mind, we get into the studio with usually a concept of what I want to write about, and then it takes forever to find the words to articulate it, I find. But yeah, there's kind of a mixture of both. But I definitely love love getting in the studio with other people as well. That's something I really try to do with my music so that each song can be different and the best it can be.
Is that sort of the idea of sort of collaboration then is super important to you?
Yes, I preach collaboration so much. I know a lot of artists are rightfully so protective of their work and their space. I like to work with as many different songwriters as possible on different songs. I Don't Want You when that comes out. I worked with one of my good friends, Jalen. She brought a fresh perspective that I might not have had if I'd worked with, say, the same songwriters day in, day out, if that makes sense.
And it's also a good tactic to, keep yourself on your toes and keep yourself a little bit
Exactly.
humble as well, because sometimes if
Exactly.
you get caught up in your own little sphere, you can kind of forget that there are other opinions and other,
Yeah.
ways of going about things, which is super important. I noticed as well, just from our conversation there, that you use a lot of female producers.
Yeah, that's something I really love to do, especially writers. I'd say pretty much every writer, bar probably Kieran, who I work with, sometimes he's like one of my best friends. Bar that, pretty much every writer I work with is female. A lot of the producers are female. I just find that obviously, as we all know, the music industry is such a male-dominated industry, especially with all the behind the scenes work, whether it's like the business side of it, the session musician side. Wherever I can, I just really want to work with more female people in the industry.
And I'm so glad that you do that as well. And it's like it can be so intimidating, I think, as a woman to enter into the kind of like studio spaces that are,
Mhm.
traditionally all technical, and you'd think, oh, like those are the male spaces. But no, that's amazing that you're inviting women into those spaces. I really, really, maybe a little bit selfishly, want to chat about my favorite song of yours, which is Petty. Like I actually kind of want to know everything about that song because that's my number one from you.
Oh, honestly, I mean, I can't pick a favorite of my songs, but that is one of my guilty pleasure songs. I still listen to it in the gym. That was one of the songs that, like I said, just kind of came to me. I think it was during a time on TikTok where a lot of songs were blown up about like doing petty things to an ex or like things like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, what if I just can't be bothered? And like, I don't have the energy to do any of that. And that's how like kind of Petty came to be. It had a lot of versions over the years. Like we always knew it was going to be some form of like garagey sort of song, but it took probably over a year before there was a version that we're truly happy with. My wonderful friend Will, he produced that one for me. Still to this day, so happy with how it turned out. But it's funny you mentioned Petty, and I know I keep going on to my new song that'll be coming out. I guess my mindset slightly changed since then. Not completely. I still barely have the energy to, seek revenge on an ex. Um, some of the lyrics in I Don't Want You, in the pre I say some may call me petty, but I think I'm playing fair, which is obviously in reference to petty. And
Yeah.
then in the chorus I say you may call me bitter, but then I say oh well, which is a reference to another one of my songs I put out a few years ago, which is a fun fact I hadn't mentioned yet, but funny how like my mindset, I'd say it's still mostly in the headspace of where petty is, but a lot changed since I released that song that kind of slightly changed my mindset.
Oh wow. I mean, I think that's such a testament to how personal all of your songs are because,
Mm.
when I listen to them as a consumer, I definitely feel like I get such a peek into your mind and into how you think and how you perceive the world, which is just so special because it's such a personal experience. I think also the reason that I love Petty so much is, would I be right in thinking there's a lot of like 90s influence in that
Yes.
one?
Some of my songs do have more 90s to early 2000s influences. I'd say that's mostly down to my friend Kieran. Like, he is so inspired by the 90s, and a lot of that rubbed off on me in a way. And I've developed so much more of an appreciation for, like, especially the 90s, even though I just about I wasn't born in the 90s. I was 2000s baby, but I still have a lot of appreciation for it.
So who would you say your main influences are?
I have so many. Do you know what? I'll say the main one for songwriting, which throws everyone off every time I say it, but my favorite band is Bastille.
Really?
Yeah, like my all-time favorite band. I'm literally looking at the cap that I have right now.
Ah.
I even, to a point, have coined a term that I use in sessions that I've heard some of my friends even use now, which is the Bastille effect, which I got into, for example, a session with Sundown Studios a good few months ago, and they said, "What's your aim for the session?" I said the Bastille effect. Obviously, they looked at me confused. I said, like Dan Smith, the way that he writes, like say Pompeii or Good Grief and songs like that. If you're at a festival, you're jumping about, you're dancing, like generally sounds happy. But then you analyze the lyrics and you realize, like, oh, this is actually a really deep, like almost depressing song. So, like I said earlier, like with my aim with a lot of the music that hasn't been out yet, pretty much all ready to go, by the way, using a lot more of that sort of technique. So I'd say songwriting wise, very much inspired by like Dan Smith from Bastille. In terms of sound, Violet introduced me to Kate Renada's music a few years back, and I love the way that he produces for other artists. Brought a lot of inspiration into I Don't Want You with that sort of production. Artists like Kehlani, Kiana Lede, Amelia Moore, if we're going to talk about like a slightly smaller artist at the moment that I think is really inspiring. I love like her sound. And I guess growing up, like, I don't know, there's just so many artists. I still take inspiration from like Alicia Keys' music and obviously get so many people off the top of my head, but I do take a lot of inspiration from like 90s, more so early 2000s sort of artists like Mariah Carey and that as well.
Yeah, you can definitely hear some Mariah, especially in some of your maybe like vocal inflections as well.
Do you know what? I that was something I've always been so nervous about is like really pushing myself vocally, but getting into sessions with people like Kieran and Violet especially, they will not let me, like they literally say to me, "You cannot be scared in these sessions, like you've got to do it. I know it's in you." And they must see something that I haven't seen for years in my vocals, and yeah, that's probably thanks to them.
Oh gosh, I mean, your voice is beautiful. Like
Thank you, I
there is
appreciate
absolutely
it.
no reason to feel any sort of nerves. It's like it's got such a balance between being really, really melodic and beautiful and lovely to listen to and so sassy.
Mhm.
Like especially in oh, what's the song that starts like it's 9 p.m.
Oh, Boomerang.
Yeah. The like little inflection you do on M is so satisfying
Oh,
that it's 9 p.m. And I'm like,
you
oh,
know what?
yeah.
Everything down to that. Obviously, I know it's my own voice and everything, and it's within me, I guess, at the end of the day. But Kieran really pushed it out of me in that session. Like I said, he knows what my abilities are. We've been friends for so many years, so he knows when to tell me that was a bit shit or something like that. Like, and always pushes me to do things that I didn't even know I could do with my vocals.
Oh wow. So again, like it's super important to collaborate with people that are you feel
Exactly.
safe around and
Exactly.
can curate that like yeah, safe space for songwriting and
Yeah.
everything. So, do you feel like then maybe with all of this music coming up, you have sort of changed a lot of your songwriting styles and musical, yeah, musical vibe?
I would say musical vibe. I feel like I've always slightly switched it up. I think that's one thing I'm quite proud of, the fact that I don't think my songs kind of sound the same as each other, but still, I feel like my voice is what ties it all together. Yes, I guess like it is changing again, but it's not anything out like unexpected, as in like obviously different for me each time, but it's not out of the ordinary, if that makes sense. I
Mm.
don't know the best way to explain it. But songwriting, definitely. I'd say my songwriting's constantly evolving, especially due to collaborating with so many different people. Also, finally, like having the courage to go into a session and say to someone, I want the Bastille effect, as funny as it sounds. Like a lot of my music now is going to have so much more deeper meaning behind it. Obviously, I'm nervous for it to be out in the world, but I can't wait to hopefully have people listen to songs that they can relate to on a deeper level and feel a sense of comfort from.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So I also really want to know about your journey into music. Like, how did you end up doing what you're doing now?
Depends how far we take it back. I mean, I've always been surrounded by music. I'm not saying necessarily I come from a musical family. They've all got interest in listening to music, or my brother used to play guitar years ago briefly, and my sister would play drums for a little bit. I had was singing when I used to be a dancer first when I was
Wow.
younger. Stopped by the time I got to like high school, just went through a lot of anxiety. But during that time I was doing bits of singing. We're doing like a couple of musical theatre classes, stuff like that. So I always knew it's something that I liked. Also, I got into music more like formally through playing the saxophone.
Wow.
I haven't picked it up since COVID, which I really need to pick it up. I do miss playing it. That's kind of where like my music theory knowledge and stuff came from. Like I'd play in like the school orchestra, and I was also in the school choir. Me realizing that music was something I wanted to do professionally was unfortunately I didn't have a good experience in school. I was bullied a lot.
Oh, God.
Um
Sorry.
yeah, like I turned to like my escape because I didn't really have many people in school. I'd go to concerts.
Oh,
Like
wow.
even by myself, I go by myself a lot of the time, and the people I met from like queuing outside of these concerts, they're still people that I talk to this day, like looking up on stage and seeing like some of my favorite artists performing. Obviously, I was happy to see them perform, but also I had a feeling of like I wish I could be that person that brings people together
Oh,
like that.
so beautiful.
Love it. But yeah, so when I was about, I think 15, I secretly started posting really bad covers on YouTube. I mean, they are. I've looked back at them sometimes when I feel like I'm not doing good enough with my music and realize, nope, I've come a long way since then. So I was posting covers. Some of them were getting more views. Still, when people at school found out about it, it gave them more ammunition. I developed a lot more anxiety again around singing. When I was at the, like, say, year 12, when you have to start thinking about uni, I didn't know what I wanted to truly do. I went to a grammar school, and in all honesty, it made me lose my love of anything that's conventionally academic. So in my head, I was like, I'm probably not even going to go to uni. There's nothing that interests me. And then I went to a UCAS, one of those UCAS convention things, saw a stand for ACM. I don't know whether people have heard of that uni. Started chatting to someone on the stand, and by that night, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't know music was something in the contemporary form that you could study at uni, get a degree. So yeah, I went to uni in like from 2018, decided to change course and do an extra year in the middle of COVID. Didn't want to graduate during that time. Graduated studying like creative artists, so performance, songwriting, marketing, all of it. Getting in sessions since, performing, all of that, I guess. I think that's kind of the gist of it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's so interesting. I went to a grammar school as well, and I completely agree with you that because it was so rigorous academically, it was not fun. In actual fact, if sort of the pace slowed down and we just had fun with academia, yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been so much more enjoyable. That's so nice. Oh my God, I've never met anyone else like when I've done these interviews and stuff that's gone to a grammar school that understands like how awful that experience was.
No, it was awful. Like, I just wish the focus wasn't on grades, it was the love of learning. But I
Yeah.
know I would have found my way to music one way or another, but I guess my experiences, I'm grateful for what experience I had in school because it pushed me to find my love for music probably sooner than I would have realized.
Definitely. And it's a good lesson as well to anyone that's watching that's maybe a bit younger or still in school. Like,
Yeah,
you
of
will
course.
leave school eventually. School is not the be all and end all of everything. And you've got so much time to figure out
Mhm.
what you want to do as well. And I love the fact that you came to music maybe a little bit later than like a lot of people in the industry. I'm exactly the same. And it can sometimes be really intimidating, you know, when you see lots of artists succeed and they're like, oh yeah, I was playing piano from 3 years old and like doing ballet from 5 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so
No,
behind. But
literally.
no, no one is behind. Everyone's just on their own journey. I would like to know now about all of this upcoming music. You've been talking about it through the interview, and I know want to know every single detail that you can
Oh,
share.
okay. Oh, I mean, I can talk about the next one for sure because I announced it the other day.
Oh, wonderful.
It's called I Don't Want You. And like I said, I was quite inspired by like, All Right by Victoria Monet. That one is produced by Kate Trinada, who I mentioned earlier. And I just loved the sassy feel of it in the shower, and this whole idea came to me for the chorus.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of the experience of the chorus states that I've been teasing a lot on like TikTok and Instagram. Although the song's called I Don't Want You, the first lyric is I don't want you, I just don't want you with someone else. And it's kind of the
ooh.
idea of being completely over your ex, which I can say for a fact I am. But finding out that they've managed to move on and get into a new relationship, whereas you're still dealing with the traumas and everything going on from that breakup. And I'm not saying that obviously the person hasn't dealt with it, like has dealt with everything to be able to move on, but it's like, how did they get their happiness when they put you through so much and they still get to just live their life and move on, if that makes sense?
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful message. God,
I
I
will
can't wait to
say
hear it.
it's more sassy and petty compared to how I've explained it, but that's kind of the thought process that made the song come to be, kind of.
Oh, amazing. Cool. Will it be going on my Get Ready With Me
Oh,
playlist?
definitely. Like, it is a bop.
Oh, nice. Oh my God, I'm so, so, so excited. Any more teasers you can share, or is that
Right. I mean,
private for
what I
now?
will say is that there's two more songs that I just need to get mixed and mastered and they're ready to go. Finally trying to aim for like a release every other month and try and finally be more consistent with it.
Oh,
We'll see how that goes. But there are a few songs ready to go, and I'd say the two releases after this one are definitely a deeper meaning, a lot more sort of personal. I mean, all my songs pretty much come from a personal sort of standpoint, but these ones are definitely a bit more insight into my mind and like the not so glamorous part of it.
well, I mean, I think that's like one of the beautiful parts of your songs is that even though you're so sassy and feminist and like, yeah, I am that bitch, they're so raw, they're so
Hmm.
honest. And yeah, I think you have that balance so, so perfectly.
Thank you.
So, what is life looking like at the moment for you? Are you kind of focusing on the more studio songwriting, production bits, or have you got any live shows coming up?
Oh, I wish I had live shows coming up. I've had so many people ask me about it, but as I say to a lot of people, it's very hard to do live shows in a sense of, especially I'm mostly based in London now, and the promoter scene can be, there's some amazing promoters, don't get me wrong, like Peachy, Under the Radar, London, few others, like Burnt Toast. Generally, the promoter scene can be quite corrupt, as bad as it, like I'm just going to be the one to say it. There has been talk on TikTok from other artists that have called out promoters. And
Ah,
don't get me wrong, it's easy to get a gig, but is it going to be a gig that I was performing a lot in, say, 2022 when I was finishing uni? And I'd be in debt doing a gig because although I'd managed to bring in an audience, say a ticket was £10, the promoter would give me £1 of that ticket, expect me to have a full band for that gig, and obviously I'm going to pay my band as fairly as I can. So I'd end up after the gig being in debt.
what?
It's not a feasible option, unfortunately. Like if there's like one of like a fair promoter that like I admire their work, like I did a gig in for Annie at the Sunflower Lounge in Birmingham in May, I think it was. I didn't get paid a penny for it, but no one did because it was for charity. I would much rather do something like that at this point in time than just trying to get gigs booked in general, if that makes sense. So that's why the gig front has been a bit slow because I've had requests for gigs, but I've turned them all down because for how little a set length as well it is and how much they charge people for it, for me to be on for say 20 minutes, it's not fair on my listeners and fans and that because I'm not expecting them to pay more than a tenner for a ticket for me to do say 5 songs.
Mm,
And then in the end of it, like at the end of it, I only get a couple of pounds from that ticket. So I know that was a long-winded way of me saying haven't got any live shows planned, but that's kind of why. I'm trying to think what else. Like in the studio a lot. I'm really trying to push being in the studio more now and just writing as much as I can. And I guess my other goal is I just want to write for other people more.
oh,
Um,
oh.
like that is something I really want to do, so I'm trying to push that side as well. So that's kind of where what I'm kind of doing at the moment. And of course, content. Like I want to bring back a few series that I was doing on TikTok, like my songwriting challenges, my weekly vlogs and stuff like that. So just trying to come up with logistics for all of that too.
Who would be your dream artist to write a song for?
Oh my word. How can you pick like just one? Oh, I don't know. I know to write with for me, as in for my artist project, I already know for a fact I want Dan Smith from Bastille. Like I just think that perspective would bring a whole different edge to like pop R&B music. But there's just so many artists I would love to write for their projects, like Kehlani, probably Victoria Monet, but I mean she's such an insane writer as it is, and she already writes for everyone. I don't, there's just so many I would love to write for.
Yeah, it's like it's such a hard thing to narrow down, isn't it? Because you're like, oh, I've got these inspirations, but I could also bring such a fresh perspective to you. And yeah, well, I love that your ambition is like limitless because it should be. It should be. You're like such a talented girl, and the world needs to hear more from you. So, where can everyone find you on social media and streaming platforms?
Yeah, so my Instagram and TikTok are at introducing Alyssa. So Alyssa is ALYSSA. I'm on all major streaming platforms as Alyssa Palmer.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for talking about some topics that are maybe a little bit difficult to discuss, but it's so, so important to have those conversations and to bring those to light. And yeah, thank you so, so much for your time. And I cannot wait to hear all these new songs that you've got coming up. Cool. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you're up to. What are you doing? Have you got any plans for the rest of the day?
No, I'm just I've come to visit home for a couple of weeks, so I'm just sorting out my life here. Before I've got work in the next few days. So I think we're getting a Wagamama's though. We're
Ooh.
having it ordered in, so that I'm excited for. I think it's almost here actually. So, ah,
Oh my gosh. Well, enjoy your Wagamamas and thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear all the rest of the music.
thank you.